Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Kat Timpf Show. Today, my guest is Ed Larson. Hear him on the Roundtable Gentlemen and Brighter Side podcast. He also produced and wrote on the last two Jeff Ross specials, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Jeff Ross Roast Cops and Jeff Ross Roast Criminals.
I watched the Jeff Ross Roast Criminals one, and I died laughing a lot. And I think did we watch it? Maybe
I think we watched together.
And you were
yes.
like, "Oh, that was my joke. I wrote that joke."
Yeah, man, that was my guy.
I remember, like, I asked you what you want to talk about in the show, and you said, "I'm down for whatever. I can always speak about cops, prison, guns, movies, music, casinos, and human decency. Then just general comedy stuff as well." So if anybody wants to. So did you went with him to those things, right?
Yeah,
like,
we went to the jail and we submerged ourselves for 4 days.
Yeah,
and we just talked to people by their bunks, in their all around in Brazos County, Texas.
Yeah,
and then we just learned about them for a couple of days, got to know them, and then did a show for them. Did 2 shows.
What was it like? What was it like? I mean, have you ever been to jail in your life?
I'd been to jail when I was younger. I went for I was selling weed with some friends.
Yeah.
And, one buddy of ours wore a wire, and
that asshole.
Yeah, that piece of shit.
Do you forgive him?
No, I'd punch him in the face if I ever saw him.
Yeah.
To this day, it was over 10 years ago, and I've I'm a respected human being now.
Yeah.
And so he wore a wire. We went, and the cops came, kicked down the door, shot the dog, fucking took us all to jail. Luckily, I wasn't on the wire, so I just got off with a warning. But the other 2 people went to jail for 6 months.
Holy shit! Like all that because of weed?
Yeah, because of weed.
Shoot your dog over weed, Kollege? What do you think about that?
I'm irate. Flat out irate.
There were 3 dogs. They shot one of them. A different dog bit a cop and almost ripped part of his arm off. And then the 3rd dog just straight up ran away. And we spent like the whole week trying to find him.
You never think that you're gonna get in trouble for selling weed.
Yeah, you never think because it's so much fun. I'll tell you what, man. I sold weed while I worked at Hooters, and I got arrested, and I ended up in jail for 4 days. And if I could do it all over again, I would.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Jail. You got a lot to say about jail. Like,
yeah, I was lucky enough where the first night I was with the violent offenders, and the second, then after that they moved me with the nonviolent people because there was room opened up. Thank God.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But being with the violent guys, they put me in a cell. And I was in there with my roommate, was this old white guy who was just ecstatic to have another white guy as his cellmate. And he was just like giving me deodorant and shampoo and telling me what I'm going to need. And I'm like, all right, And so I wake up in the morning. I'm depressed as fuck. All I want to do is sleep because, I'm in jail. And
fair.
And I go out. I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read the paper. That's what I'm going to do today in jail. I'm going to go out. I'm going to read the paper cover to cover. And that's what I'm going to do. I go out. There's a big table with the newspaper on it, taped on the table, written on the table, so the newspaper does not leave the table. I was like, all right. I sit down, I start reading the paper, and then right as soon as I read like the first sentence, like someone started screaming at some guy on the other side of me, and then like threw like an open container of milk, and it got all over me, over at the other guy. So I just closed the newspaper, went back, shut my door to my cell, and just went to sleep.
God, that's bull. I mean, with being like in the prison though, like with
prison's different than jail. We did jail.
Yeah.
We did jail. When we went to a maximum security jail.
Yeah.
There were murderers in there still awaiting trial. 2 people have since been sentenced to death.
Oh my God.
That I met down there. So
were they good guys?
I mean, not those particular. One of the guys just like killed someone to watch him bleed. He was a real Gabriel something. He killed a professor at Texas A&M.
Just because
he was his neighbor, and he wanted to watch him die.
But was he a good guy though?
He was adopted Chinese.
Whoa!
Yeah.
A Chinese murderer?
A Chinese murderer. He was the only. He was the only Asian. He was the only Asian guy in the whole jail. They called him Sticks for chopsticks.
Kollege, I feel like you looked at me like I was some sort of racist.
No, not even that. Like, I was also shocked, but I was shocked that he was Chinese and named Gabriel, not that he was a Chinese murderer. Like, I feel like there's enough of them for there to be murderers in there.
I think the white family that adopted him called him Gabriel.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just my theory. I have no clue, but that's what I would guess.
Yeah.
I mean, were they like charming people?
Some of them were very charming. I loved a lot of them. I mean, there was one guy in with the violent offenders, because the violent offenders and the nonviolent offenders are 2 very different cells to be in, you know, and these didn't have individual cells. There was like sleepaway camp. There'd be like 5 bunk beds in each section, and there'd be like 5 sections, no more than that, like 10 sections in one big area. And there's a basketball court that they can share with with like C block or whatever. And some of the guys, I met one dude in particular. He was an auto mechanic. He owned his own auto mechanic for a couple of years, and he had some outstanding tickets, and he got pulled over and they took him to jail. And he couldn't afford his bail. And so he's in with the violent offenders.
Holy shit, because he can't pay his traffic tickets?
Yeah, because he can't pay his traffic tickets. And he's in with the violent offenders because 30 years ago, when he was 20 years old, he got in a fight. And so he's in with the fucking violent offenders. And this is the nicest, sweetest, God-loving dude I've ever met my whole life. And he's just threatened every day of his life, you know? So it's pretty hard on him.
Oh, my God.
But he got out of jail the next day.
Yeah.
So he actually had a really nice last day in jail, which is interesting because the show was his last day.
Yeah, I mean that's like a pretty. So the cops and then the criminals. I mean, I was watching that and I was like, I can't even believe the stuff that he's saying, and everybody's laughing. That's just wonderful.
Oh yeah, we were making fun of the white supremacists. The guy's fucking. This guy lifted his shirt and he had 2 swastikas on his belly.
Yeah. And
they were straight up and down instead of tilted to the side like they're supposed to be. And so we like let him know that his swastika tattoo was wrong, which was a lot of fun.
He laughed?
Oh yeah, no, he laughed, but he was also dead evil.
Yeah,
you could just see the hate in his eyes. You know, we asked him like how long he was in for. He's like 99 years, and Jeff's like, well, he should have got 6 million for every Jew that died in the Holocaust.
Oh my God, yeah. Now it's like imagine just being an actual Nazi. People, we throw that word around now.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely. Like, oh, you're like we call librarians Nazis.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that's couldn't be more the opposite.
Right. Or we throw around white supremacists too. Like if you voted for Trump, you're a white supremacist.
Nah, I mean, I never said that. You know? But the white supremacists did vote for Trump. We know that much. Exactly.
They did.
Yes.
But not some people were just like, I don't like that guy.
It's so much work to be a white supremacist. Yeah. It's got to be so tiring, right? To hate all day long like that. And like people hate the KKK so fucking much. It's ridiculous. Can I curse?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, sorry. I didn't ask first.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you fucking KKK. And by the way, I found a good way to make fun of the KKK. I want to start calling them the Ku Klux Trans. I don't see them wearing no pants. Come on.
Oh, there you go. I need an air horn for this show.
We do need an air horn.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
True.
I mean, but it also just cuts down on like how people you're able to be friends with.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have 2 people that I had to cut off after this election.
Really?
And it's sad because they're buddies, and one of them like is a good guy. He'd help you move. You know, but he just thinks that if he can't murder someone, then a woman shouldn't be able to have abortion, and that's his logic. And you're like, I can't talk to you anymore. Like that's crazy to me.
I know. I love when it's a guy.
Yeah, of course.
Men who have opinions on abortion really bother me.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, what if they're positive opinions?
Yeah, well, right. Positive. Yeah, if you're like, go ahead and do it. But it's just like, well, I just think it's I don't think it's like it, but you will never. Be pregnant.
No, exactly. You don't know. It could kill you as a woman. It could just kill your body.
Like, well, that's God's plan.
Yeah.
It's God's plan.
I could have, like, God forbid you ever got pregnant. You're so tiny. I don't know
my
what
God,
happened
it might
to
kill
you.
me.
Yeah.
And I just got to raise it in my studio apartment. Yeah. Like me in this. Could you imagine me as a mother? I'd be like, shit, where's my kid? I haven't seen it in 3 days.
And like, it drives me crazy about people who are pro-abortion. I hate saying pro-life. I like saying, or like anti-abortion. People who are anti-abortion, they're all pro-death penalty.
Right.
So it's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
This dude walking around is also a life.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, they really are. Nobody hates abortion and loves killing people like Texas.
Oh my God. It is insane. What's going on in Houston right now? And they do something where you gotta give a funeral to the baby if you abort it.
Shut up. I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's new shit. I mean, everyone's all wrapped up in Ohio's weird 6-week thing, but Houston's going crazy with the funeral thing.
Oh my God.
My mother just died.
Yeah.
And I could have done nothing with her body and it would have been fine. But if you have a cluster of cells that you push out of your body, you have to have a funeral for it? That's fucked up.
It's really fucked up.
Why make the rules for people who actually live their whole lives? Make the same rule for the elderly then.
Yeah,
you
the
know,
elderly
if you're going to do that for
that.
babies, give it to the elderly.
That's great. And is it the tax? Do tax dollars pay for these baby funerals, or do you got to?
No, you got to pay for it. You got to. It's all part of the abortion. You got to buy a little fucking coffin and put it in the ground and dig a hole and or incinerate it or whatever they do and then bury it.
Oh my god!
It's fucking insane.
It is insane.
I can't believe this is how they do business down there. It just seems irrational. It's so irrational.
It is irrational.
Because the people. Let's face it. The people who need abortions that can't afford to get them are mostly minorities and poor people. And for people who hate minorities so much, they certainly want to create a bunch more of them.
Yeah.
You know, and so it doesn't make any sense to me. Where they have no logic.
Yeah.
Every case they have is just completely flawed.
I think that sometimes they're turned off because a lot of the people who get the most attention for abortions are there's this new feminist wave, it seems to me, which isn't huge, but it's just you have to have had an abortion to be a feminist. You know, if you're at the feminist party and everyone's shout your abortion, I had an abortion, I had an abortion. I've never had an abortion, but I might feel left at everybody might be well, you can get out of here. You
got to work a little harder if you haven't had an abortion.
Yeah, I've done a really good job of just not getting pregnant.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah, my girlfriend's the same way. She's a part of Lady Parts Justice.
Yeah.
And they fight for female reproductive rights through comedy. And she's never had an abortion, at least to my knowledge. And but the weird thing is, a lot of her family looks at her social media, and they're all Ohio right wing, and a lot of them fucking hate her because of it.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting to watch. And they have one family member who's been trying to have kids and can't have kids, and so everyone's feels bad that Julie's talking about all this pro-abortion stuff, but this other one can't have a kid and it's a mess, and but
oh my god, what a nightmare. And then you do go through, because my mom died 2 years ago, and you go through they don't help you with much.
No. No, I got lucky with the family members that help way too much, and then the other ones don't help at all.
Right, I agree.
So you don't even know what's worse.
I agree. But it's just in terms of you talk about life, in terms of my dad called that because the family was on my mom's health insurance. I wasn't, because I was 26 already, but I hadn't had a job and all that. But my brother, sister, and my dad were all on it, and he called being so when is the insurance up? And they were what time did she die?
Oh man.
Yeah.
God.
They're dicks.
My mom wasn't in her right mind when she passed away.
Yeah.
And she had really bad diabetes, and she was making all these crazy decisions, gambling a lot, doing a lot of wrong things. And 8 days before she died, when she wasn't in her right state of mind, changed her life insurance policy and cut it in half because she was sick and she was trying to save money and get money for medicine and stuff because she made a mistake and gambled away too much money.
Oh my God.
She changed the life insurance, does not make a new payment on it, but 8 days before she died, she lowered it from $60,000 to $30,000. And so I just got screwed.
Oh my God.
And then I tried to contest it, and they were just you know what? Technically, we could tell you to go fuck yourself, so go fuck yourself.
How was she gambling on on the internet, or is there a casino in the hospital?
No. She would drive to Atlantic City and then write a bunch of bad checks, and they would take them and Trump Taj Mahal, and they would take them, and then they would give it, and then they would give her cash, and then she'd lose because she's not a good gambler, and then she'd pass out in the casino actually. And they had to take her to the hospital from the casino. And she kept writing bad checks at the same casino, and they just kept taking them because they don't give a fuck. They want you to write a bad check. They don't want you to write a good check because then they can once you write a bad check, then they can go ahead and get you on the late fees. And then when you write checks there, they submit it 3 times the paper check, and then because you only can submit a check 3 times and let it bounce. But what the casinos would do, this Averti company, I can't remember it, but the company that worked inside of Taj Mahal,
yeah,
they'll send it through another 3 times as a electronic check. And so at $65 a pop, 6 times on a check that the money comes higher than the check, and it's an impossible amount of money to pay back.
Shit, dude.
And so it just...
I don't like casinos.
I hate them.
I don't even think that they're fun.
No, I don't get it. I mean, if you're responsible, that's fine. But let's face it, there's a lot of irresponsible people going to casinos, spending their last dime that they have. I mean, outside of Trump Taj Mahal, before it closed down, thank God, across the street, directly across the street are 4 cash for gold stores.
Oh, man.
Just like trying to get people like give me your necklace and I'll give you a little more money. You can go back and win back everything. You know, it's disgusting the way they treat these people. And Atlantic City is fucking ghost town now.
Atlantic City is like a toilet.
They've lost 10,000 jobs in 4 years over there. 2 years, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And so it's just, there's literally pregnant dogs in the street. It looks like Playa del Carmen or something, like a Mexican village. You know, you're just going around. There's stuff they didn't fix from the hurricane. There's these 2 giant casinos taking all the money from all the tourists. The boardwalk's dead.
It's dead. It's sad.
Oh, yeah. And then when they closed down this Trump Taj Mahal, Carl Icahn declared bankruptcy on the business, and 3,000 people lost their pensions. You know, if you're a waiter at Trump Taj Mahal for 30 years, that's why you're a waiter, is so you get that pension.
Right.
You know, but they took it from them, and then now these guys just have nothing for the rest of their lives. You know, and they're stuck in Atlantic City.
Atlantic City. They
don't even have the money to move.
I took that bus to Atlantic City, the one, because I was doing comedy over there, and I was like, this was years ago.
Yeah.
You know, I was like broke as hell, took the bus. There was a dude just smoking a square on the bus, just smoking a cigarette, and nobody said anything to him because the dude looked terrifying.
Yeah, because he'd fight you.
So I'm like, apparently just smoke on this bus.
Yeah. I was once, same clientele Atlantic City bus story. Here we go.
I was do it.
8 years ago, riding back from Atlantic City with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Just broke up with her.
Oh, my God. In
Riding
Atlantic City?
in Atlantic City. Driving the bus back, riding in the bus. I wasn't driving. Riding the bus back to New York. Sitting next to us is this dude. He's just a piece of shit. You could just see he's a piece of shit. You know, he just stinks of it. Like literally, he's got way too much cologne on, and he stinks like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And he goes up to this woman, and he's just like, "Give me a kiss," and then she's like, "No," and then he's like, "All right," and then he sits back down, and then she walks over and just close-fisted punches him right in the face. He's sitting next to me. Close fist punched him right in the face. Then he pushed her and she fell down. She came back and she punched him 5 times in the face, real hard, like fucking full-on fight. I don't know what to do. I'm like, all right, do I got to get involved with these monsters? They just start furiously making out. And it was just like, I was like, what the fuck is what am I supposed to do here? Like, this is insane.
Oh my God.
That's Atlantic City in a nutshell.
I mean,
and added dog barking.
Also, I feel like a lot of people break up in Atlantic City, probably.
Oh, I mean, it's an unhappy town. Vegas is cool. Atlantic City is just trash.
Yeah.
And ever since they started opening up casinos in Philadelphia and Connecticut and Baltimore, and now they're going to open some in New York City, Atlantic City's dead. It's a ghost town. It's going to be forgotten.
Yeah.
Fucking put the ocean over it already.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great. Donald Trump did a great job with Atlantic City.
Oh my Lord.
President Trump. Although, I mean, are you used to that idea yet?
What, the
President Trump?
I mean, I was just actually thinking about this yesterday. I mean, whether you're used to it or not, it's happening.
Yeah, it is.
So, I mean, you want him gone, but then Pence is in, and so it's just like a dirtier situation. So basically, the only thing you can do is like hope that the fucking Christmas Carol becomes real and his dead brother shows up and tells him he's gonna be visited by 3 ghosts this Christmas, and he wakes up like a good guy.
It might happen.
So you never know. I mean, you gotta hope he does good, right?
Yeah, of course. I think he also might do nothing. I don't think he wants the gig.
I bet he fucking quits.
Yeah.
2 years in, I bet he just straight up quits because it's too much work and he wants to go host a TV show or something.
I mean, it's hard, Kollege.
I saw today he was going to have like a 24-hour, like behind the scenes, like it's going to be a fucking NFL team gearing up for like their season. There's going to just be constant TV for Trump, like while he's president.
Yeah.
Like backdoor meetings and stuff are going to be like broadcast. Like that seems like a great idea.
He just does. He wants attention, which I understand because I require.
Can you not like
attention?
Has any president not got attention just by being president?
No.
Like
you
I
do.
feel like he's
Carter.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but he's. During his campaign, I don't think he ran it in a way that screamed, "I really want to do this."
No, I think maybe I can't tell. I can't fucking tell. This guy's such an enigma to me. It's so hard. I grew up knowing that he was a joke. My father taught me as a child that Donald Trump is a joke, and now he's our president. Now that I'm an adult, and it makes me crazy.
Well, do you remember when it was funny? It was funny.
It was funny a year and a half ago. It was funny when you're like, oh, him, Ben Carson, who's Hillary going to beat? You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, And then what's it like that Ben, like even Ben Kissel was walking around with like a "Made in Make America Great Again" hat. Like,
Yeah,
you know, it was a big funny joke. It was never gonna be a thing.
And then he just brought out the worst in everybody.
In everybody.
He really did. Even me. I'm screaming all the time now. I wish I would just be nice like I was months ago.
I mean, but did you like Hillary? I also really did not like Hillary.
I'm not a fan, but it's much better than the other one. I mean, I like obviously I'm a Bernie guy.
Of course,
because
yeah.
I'm peaceful and I want the poor to be happy and make some money and correct things, and but at the same time. Her or Trump, I think it's a no-brainer.
The best thing I liked about Bernie is that I disagreed with a lot of what he said as a libertarian, so I'm like one of those cold-hearted libertarians. But he's always like, I believed what he was saying things because he believed the stuff he was saying.
Absolutely.
Have we ever had that?
I mean, Reagan couldn't even read.
Yeah, well, reading is overrated. I mean,
Strong agree.
I definitely, I love to read. And nobody gives a shit. No one's ever like, yeah, I went out with you, and like the thing I like about you the most is your reading mind. I love the way you read these books. Do you want to go out on another date? They're just like nobody gives a shit.
You're dating a lot of sapiosexuals these days?
No, but I think I might be one. A sapiosexual.
I would read I would like pretend to read a book just for the peace and quiet.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I have a hard time being able to tell if somebody is hot or not. Like, I don't know if someone's hot.
It's all subjective.
Like, I have been attracted to some dudes who people are like, are you serious?
No, you like who you like.
He looks like a school shooter. And I'm like, I know.
Oh, you like skaters.
I like skinny, like really scrawny, like
yeah.
Or they don't have to be really scrawny if they're scrubby and dirty enough.
Ripped clothes and shit. You like skaters.
Yeah, like
no one who's on time for anything.
They're never on time.
No, they're the most unreliable group of people.
I get so sick of them not being on time. But the guys are on time. Once they get there, I'm like,
oh man. I used to be a chef, and if anyone ever showed up to a job interview with a skateboard, they just didn't get the job.
Yeah. Look, I don't even know any adults who skateboard.
Oh man, nothing's worse than when you meet them.
I mean, I did like the skater boys in high school. One of them really broke my heart. I bet. Real bad, because I was very ugly in high school. I don't know if you knew this, but like really unattractive. Yeah. Like my haircut was like a mix between like a mullet and like a Beatles haircut, and I had these stringy bangs. I bet it was all right. That started in the middle of my head. Did you have piercings and stuff? No. Good for you. I mean, but I used to wear eyeliner, like tons of black eyeliner. Cool. And I'd walk around with like a safety pin choker, and I'd be like, fuck the system and shit. Did you at least listen to the music? I did listen to the music. Good. Yeah. And then, so this guy, Mark, okay, if you're listening, Mark, congrats on the new baby. But he decorated the whole sophomore hallway for my birthday. Whoa! And so I was like, he must be into it. He must like me. So at homecoming, I went by myself, and he went by himself. Even though he decorated the hallway for you? Yeah. Well, then we were sitting and talking, and keep in mind this story is funnier when you picture that I was wearing light-up flip-flops as shoes, because I thought that was dope. And, like, we're sitting there, and some teacher comes up, and she's like, Mark, I thought that you were done with girls. And he goes, oh, that's not a girl, that's just Kat. Oh. Oh, was that bad? I don't know, but you could make it a nice way. You're better than all the rest. No, I ran to the bathroom and started sobbing. You could have taken it the good way. You could have spun that positively. And, hindsight. Well, I didn't learn my lesson. I think I did think it was still good. So then I went to his birthday party, and we were all at the bonfire in the backyard, and he started in the middle of the bonfire having a conversation with some girl who had real bad mouth herpes, and then they started making out. That's it. It's over then. So then I started to cry, and I went into the house, and I was consoled by his mom for most of the night. Oh, man, your son has herpes. I mean, I don't even know if it was herpes. She had like a weird crust. Yeah. But it was like a lot of inflamed crust in the corners of her mouth. Oh, man, that'll happen sometimes when it gets too smoky and you haven't had enough water. Yeah, well, but it was like all year. It was like all year round. I don't know.
Oh, okay. It wasn't just by the fire.
Constant
no.
fires. It was Detroit. It was Detroit.
You're from Detroit?
Yeah.
Oh,
you know
man.
what? It's a wonderful place. I love it. Whatever you're doing there is okay.
Yeah, of course.
It's like the no judgies capital of the world.
It's Mad Max.
It's amazing. You just go out. I love going to like sporting events in downtown Detroit, and I went to my first hockey game not at the Joe Louis my boyfriend at the time in Los Angeles took me to a Kings game.
Cool.
And I was just like wilding out as we do. I mean,
Yeah.
Red Wings playoffs, people like smuggle an octopus and they throw them on the ice.
Is that only for the? I thought that was every single game.
It's like every game, but but people smuggle them in the playoffs. They tie them to their cars. Like you couldn't go to like an Italian market and get an octopus.
Yeah, where do you get an octopus in Detroit? That's what I've always.
They go to like Nino Silva. They go to like Italian. They'll just get like a live octopus.
Yeah, seafood markets that have octopus.
Yeah, and you drive around and there's
It's also Detroit though. Like there's no sea nearby. Like there's a huge octopi demand in the middle of the country.
They order them and like you drive around and it's like if you don't have an octopus on your car, you're an asshole and you don't care about what's important. So I'm going in my keeping like
people smuggle them in their pants.
They do, and like, and so I was wilding out, and he was just like. He was like, Kat, you can't act like that here. You can't. I'm bored out of my mind at a Yankees game. I'm like, where are all the drunk uncles?
I know. Yankees, everyone has a bad rep, but it's not that bad over there.
It's boring.
Yeah, it's kind of boring.
It's very
the
boring.
stadium's very nice, and it's just like, you think there would be more ruffians.
It's too corporate. They priced all the like actual fans out.
Yeah, that's very true.
Tigers game, like there's Detroiters who have season tickets.
Yeah.
And they'll just no matter where you're sitting, there's always a dude that's being like, so fucking like just gay slurs, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, you pays it.
Sports stuff.
Just like spilling, but like teetering around, spilling beer all over like his grandson, who's just like smiling.
Oh man, no one's worse than Philly fans. I think we all know that.
Yeah.
I remember when a couple of years back when the Phillies were doing really bad, and then so some guy decided to go puke on the mayor's daughter. Like he force puked on the mayor's daughter because the baseball team was bad.
What if I think that's hilarious? But what if I think that's funny? What if I want to live in a world with that kind of passion?
Chaos reigns.
I love chaos.
I get it. I mean, if you want to live in that world, then let's prepare for that world. If you want to live in a civilized society, then let's try to fix these prisons. That's I go back and forth myself because I love a chaos life. Let's live like The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
But that seems kind of fun. But if you want to live in Tomorrowland, we gotta make some serious changes.
Yeah. See, in my relationships, I tend to seek out ones that are passionate. Mm-hmm. And we break up every couple weeks.
It sounds nice.
And but we were never really together. And then we'll be arguing, and I'll be like, "Be civil," because I'll be. But then I'm like, "Of course, Kat, has this person ever been civil?"
Yeah.
You're just allowing this person to be an asshole by always being like, "It's the cycle. Mm-hmm. It's the cycle."
When I was dating, I'm very happy right now. But
Yeah.
when I was dating, as soon as someone like yelled at me or acted crazy once, I always just got rid of them immediately.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between that's what I need to do. I mean,
Yeah. It feels good too. You're like, no, you're too crazy.
I'm starting to. I see crazy. I can handle. Like everybody has a situation where maybe you drink too much and you like overreact emotionally to something, and it's like
That's
whatever.
forgivable.
But it's forgivable. But it starts to be like, who you texting? Who you fucking? Who you text? Like,
Well, that doesn't play.
That doesn't. I
You can't do that.
Well, it's hard for me.
You know lots of dudes.
Exactly. Like, did you see this office?
Yeah. You work here, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I work here. I don't know if you noticed. A lot of dudes.
Oh my God.
Lot of dudes.
There's like 400 dudes and 3 hot girls.
Yeah.
We were actually talking earlier today that there seemed like a lot of chicks in the office today. It's like we were looking around. We were like, oh. Abnormal.
Yeah, I have Nick DiPaolo on quite a bit, and he comes in. He's like, "This is amazing." He's like, "It's just like everybody's just drinking, and there's just like they're just 3 hot chicks just like playing basketball in dresses, and it's like it's not clear to me what they do, but I don't know." Like,
Nick did love it here. He stayed for like 10 hours.
yeah, Nick loved it. Like, there was the Cubs game, and me and Nick just stayed for like the whole night. Nick was just like, "This is incredible." He's just one of the most delightfully hateful people. I don't know. Do you know Nick at all?
I've met him once or twice, but we don't know each other well.
So he's friends with Greg Gutfeld, and he's been on the Greg Gutfeld show. So we like kind of got to know each other a little bit. I've had him on the show a few times, and he's just great guy.
He seems like it. I know he's hilarious.
He's really funny.
I love his comedy.
I love that he was refused to like. He doesn't even like performing as much at like the Comedy Cellar because he's like, there's too many NYU Asians there. I'm like, Jesus Christ. He has just like no problem saying that shit. I'm like, Nick, if I ever said that, I would get fired immediately.
Yeah, well, you know, he gets, you know, more money when he says it.
Exactly.
So it's a different audience.
He's unbelievable. I mean, yeah, like he was on the Greg Gutfeld show the last time he was on. He's like, I was watching with my wife, and I was like, not even on. It's like they cut almost everything that he said. Which is great. I mean, you know, it is what it is. I don't know. I mean, getting your life ruined over a joke is pretty.
You know what? I'll go ahead and say it. I feel bad for Kramer.
Yeah.
I think he has mental problems, and he's not a stand-up, and he was put in a corner, and he said something that was completely out of line and wrong.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not like he's a racist. He was just a man. He's a mentally challenged man pushed to the brink, and now his life is ruined.
Yeah.
So I Mel Gibson too. I give him a pass as well. I think they've done their time. I really think that they've taken their lumps, and we should start being nice to them again.
Yeah.
How are people supposed to get better if you just ostracize them for the rest of their lives?
Yeah, like, or was that lady who made that AIDS joke or whatever on Twitter, and she
lost her job by the time she landed in
on
Africa?
Yeah.
Well, she also got a job like immediately too, so she was fine.
Yeah. Some pro-AIDS company.
Justine Sacco.
Yeah,
she works for like FanDuel.
Oh,
like,
really?
The sports gambling site.
Of course.
She's like their PR person.
That's
Like that popped up earlier this year. Everyone was like, "Wait, the same Justine Sacco?" Like, yeah, same one.
I mean, of course she was joking.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, that joke just stunk.
It was a bad joke.
It wasn't original. It was not, but like Twitter is the best detectives in the world. Like if some white person does that, everyone on Twitter will find that person, and then you're done. You're just done for.
Oh yeah. Lord knows. I mean, I got to go through and do a little combing, but we should hope everything's okay on my Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, every time Trevor Noah does something, people bring up like he made a Chris Brown beating Rihanna joke
When he was 22, for Christ's sake.
Right.
Which means he does not respect women.
Oh, Jesus
Which
Christ.
means he beats women. Which is basically like him murdering all women. I mean, that's the logic.
What do you
that
think of
people-
him? I think he's doing better. I think he's getting better.
Can we talk about Tommy?
Who's Tommy? Oh, that
Tommy,
interview?
Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy. Oh my God.
Yeah, she's a nightmare.
I mean, okay, so
I don't know much about her other than that interview. That was when I learned who she was.
That's why a lot of people are pissed because she like had a bit of an audience, but now she's a way bigger audience.
Oh,
because of
yeah,
it.
because they had a civil conversation.
Yeah,
for
they
the most
did.
part, and it made her look good in a couple of ways. So now she's huge.
Right. I mean, she can, do whatever she's doing. It's
Mm-hmm.
fine, okay? But I spent some time on her Instagram this weekend. I was going through some shit, so I was just kind of sitting in my bed sitting in my bed on Instagram, And I saw one little meme that she posted that particularly upset me that I'm gonna share with you because it's maybe the most atrocious thing that I have ever perhaps seen in my life.
Do you think she made the meme or just saw it and giggled and shared
Well,
it?
it's on. No, I mean, well, it's a meme. It's a quote, her own quote.
Oh.
So.
Oh, this is the one about Jay-Z?
No, are you ready for this?
All right, what's it say?
Yeah, even calling.
Americans stand up and fight for faith, family, and freedom. Syrians run away. Oh.
I don't.
Oh.
Is she serious?
Oh.
And she's standing for everyone listening with her hands on her hips, smiling in like a white dress.
Oh my God.
So Syrians are getting gassed out of their homes. You can't fight gas. Okay.
Let's see what her fucking cornbread family does in the face of ISIS.
I mean, like, right? So you're
you run away, but there's no more like home. There's the walls are destroyed. You know, there's nowhere to sleep. You have to leave.
And the delighted expression on her face in this photo.
She's like nailed it.
My orange juice is too puppy, you fuckers. That's what that picture looks like to
her
me.
comment is, you won't fight for your country, but you want to run, hide, and infiltrate ours? Someone needs to say something about these, and she put this in quotes, Syrian refugees. I will. Hashtag Team Tommy. Hashtag tell it like it is. Hashtag enough is enough. Hashtag Syrian refugees.
Christ.
You know, Kurt Schilling put a lot of money into video games, and she didn't really exist until Kurt Schilling bankrupted Rhode Island. She could just be like a video game character Kurt Schilling programmed, because she says all the same shit. No one knew who she was before this past Super Bowl, where she called out Beyonce because Beyonce came out with like Black Panther themed Super Bowl performance, and she was like
Badass, by the way.
It was a phenomenal performance.
Saved Coldplay.
And she was like, why don't you take care of your issues at home because your husband used to be a drug dealer? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, he's an entrepreneur.
Correct.
He is a incredibly successful man.
Yeah.
He's a very nobody's
He
like
did sell crack, though.
so
He did sell crack.
so fucking what? So fucking what?
You guys are pretty much the same person when you think about it.
I sold weed. I did not sell crack.
Schedule 1.
Yeah.
Schedule 1.
But nobody's running out there being like, Jay-Z is real loser.
Yeah, no.
He's blowing it.
Yeah. No, I mean, he owns a basketball team with a Russian mobster. He's doing great.
Yeah, he really is. I mean,
Real negative role model for kids out there.
I mean, look, I've never met her, but I gotta have a problem with people just brutalizing Syrian refugees.
I mean, it's very upsetting. But you know, it's very common these days too.
Well, here's the thing. I understand, and I'm a libertarian in the true sense. So I'm like open, like more like open up the borders more, and like I'm not like people nowadays. People say libertarian, but what they really mean is like Republican who doesn't hate gay people.
Yeah.
Like there's so much more about libertarian than like just that. It's like a lot of it's like about foreign policy and immigration.
Yeah.
But I understand how fear can motivate people to be like, we can't let these people into our country, or like, oh, we can't, because they're watching only people that say that they're coming. I understand the fear of that, but she's not even saying that. She's saying, well, they should stand and fight those pussies. Like, are you like, you don't have to shit all over them.
I mean, they can't stand and fight. They have no weapons.
They don't have weapons.
Yeah, someone needs to help these people.
Yeah.
And I feel really bad. And then they also get bad raps because, when they go to Germany, a couple of them, fuck around and do, horrible shit.
Yeah.
And then it's a bad name for all of them. When the fact is, it's just like families just looking for a place to live and pray.
Yeah.
And whether you believe in what they believe in or not, they got to do it somewhere. Like, it's wrong that they're getting shot in the head because they're just trying to be normal people.
Right.
It's insane to me.
Again, I do understand, like, the fear, of terrorism and all of that. But again, she is shitting on them.
Yeah.
And smiling.
Well, you fear them for terrorism? Then stop shitting on them like this and making them hate us. Then, maybe if we're nice to them, then they won't fucking do it. How about that?
I'm all about, like, the intervention in the Middle East has obviously been a fucking disaster. It's like, we
can't leave, but you gotta go.
Yeah, it's like, and then we remember how pumped everyone was that she took out Gaddafi? That did a lot of good.
No, I mean, none of it does good. It's what we need to do is convert to solar energy and let them fucking have the oil.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do. We need to go to wind and solar and electricity and fucking coal. Coal's bad, but whatever, we have it.
Yeah.
And but just get off the gasoline so we don't have to even deal with these maniacs. It's crazy over there.
Did you hear Donald Trump's take on wind farms? He was just like, they're ugly.
They're ugly. I don't like them. I don't like them. There's too much spinning.
He doesn't drink, which is alarming.
Well, his brother died of alcoholism.
Right. I'm not saying the reason that,
But he gives away free alcohol at his casinos when you're gambling because he knows that when you drink, you make bad decisions, so he's a fucking piece of shit.
I've never made a bad decision when I've been drinking. I ruin my life pretty much every time, No, that's not true. I've gotten pretty mature.
Yeah.
I've lately been having one or two and then calling it a night and watching Modern Family.
I think that's nice.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need to get blackout drunk anymore. It's a nice thing when you grow up and you're like, yeah, it's not worth it to, you know, shit blood for a day and a half.
It's really not. It's really not. My only problem that I still have sometimes is that I work 3 jobs and sometimes I just like don't eat during the day.
Yeah, that
and then
happens.
It's time for happy hour, and I've had like 1 drink.
Oh, and you're done.
And I'm like, well, you know how like you blah, 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 blah. And then as soon as I talk too much in general. But it gets bad. I think people give a shit about things they certainly do not.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm a national treasure. Like, and people are just like, can someone murder this bitch? Like, I will kick her in the face if it makes her shut up.
Well, I think it's good that we're doing the show before happy hour.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I mean, it's good.
I do that too, though. I don't even realize I haven't eaten. And you get to like 5 o'clock and you're just mad at everybody.
You're just an asshole.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's right, because I'm a human and I need to, you know, subsidize myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh.
And then I eat way too much and I keep my big fat figure.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay if you're a dude, I think, to be bigger.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
harder for a...
I hope so.
It's harder.
Otherwise I'm fucked.
I think it's harder to be a fat lady.
You know, it depends on...
It's getting more popular, I guess. It depends where your fat goes.
Yeah, and it also depends on, you know, what kind of life you want to lead.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to have a big, happy, fat life with you and your fat boyfriend... those people are happy as hell.
They are.
You know, then, you know, the other side is, you know, you're unhealthy and you're probably going to die early because you're so fat.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a line.
Yeah.
There's a line. I mean, I'm just like a tiny person.
You are just a tiny person.
Just a tiny person.
You're a squirrel of a human.
I am. I am. I mean, like, when I lost, like, I was actually 10 pounds thinner, like a year and a half ago, like right after my mom died, because I was just like so sad. I wasn't hungry.
Lord.
I looked like really like terrifying.
Yeah, you were small when I first met you. You're still small.
I'm still small,
you were
but
tiny when I first met you.
Like I looked like I was about ready, like I would look like sickly.
Yeah.
Like,
See, I went the opposite when my mom passed away. I ate.
Oh, really?
Oh, mother. I was eating. All I wanted to do. People bringing me food. I was going to the boardwalk, cheesesteaks. Loving it.
Did people bring you like tons of food to your house?
Oh, yeah. People were mailing it. It was nice.
Yeah, it was alarming. Like when we were at home preparing for the funeral, like
that's what you're supposed to do.
People
Send
brought
food.
so much food. Like
you should never have to worry about food.
Exactly. At some point, our doorbell rang and there was just cream puffs on the porch, and like nobody was even there. They just like left. It was like a ding dong ditch, but they left cream puffs. They were pretty good.
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, how many days of viewing did you guys do all that?
I did nothing. Well, I'm an only child,
Yeah.
and my parents are divorced, so I was just. I mean, and I was starting the biggest gig of my life in Montreal less than a week after she died, and so I had to move it along. So the day she died, I went down there a couple hours later, and I had her cremated like 2 days later.
Yeah.
And then I put her in the ground. She died on Monday. She's in the ground by Friday.
See, my mom, I don't think could understand that she wasn't actually going to be able to receive the attention. Yeah. Like before she died, like when they announced that she wasn't like a organ, like, or she couldn't get a transplant, she couldn't like, you know, live that long. And it happened really fast with her. She was diagnosed with the disease 3 weeks later. She was gone. It was like super fast. She's sitting up in bed with this notebook. She's like, okay, I want this church, but I want this priest from this church.
Yeah.
And we need 2 days of viewing. And well, she thought it'd be really funny to play, like she had a playlist. I'm like, where are we gonna? I'm like, where are we? She was like, I want to play like I Want to Be Sedated because it'll be funny because I'm dead. I'm like, nobody's gonna think that's funny. Like I'm glad like you have like I developed a sense of humor about all of it just because she was so hilarious about it, you know?
Yeah.
Like I remember like you know when like the nurses were like turning her over, there was this like cute like male nurse. She's like, now I've lost so much weight, now that I got no ass, I got everybody looking at my ass. She's like, I used to have this big, beautiful ass. And like me and my father are both sitting there and I'm like, Mom, please stop. Like, stop it. But she's having a good time.
Yeah.
But she insisted on 2 days of viewing. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I mean, she was a social worker.
Yeah.
So like a lot of her kids came and like it was like a mosh pit in there. She had a lot of people there. But it's like nobody knows what to say to you. And like and it's like, it's not that I don't appreciate it. I don't want to sound grateful. I love that all these people came. It was great to have so much support. But multiple people came up to me and were like, well, you know, at least like she didn't die in like a car accident.
It's like, what are you talking about?
Like we can always invent like, you know,
Yeah, thank God she wasn't ripped apart by dogs.
Exactly. You can always invent.
That would have been awful. You're right. That would be worse. That would have ruined the viewing.
You can always invent a worse scenario. You can always be like, well, at least she wasn't raped in front of you, and then they cut off all of her fingers and made you eat them and ripped her limbs off, and then you had it. It's like you can always invent a worse scenario.
You know what I hate worse than that, though? When people tell you that she's in a better place.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, no. She's not
Are you
alive on Earth.
You're an atheist?
I'm an atheist.
Me too.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. You know, it's like, you die, it's over. I just had a guy who died on the street and came back to life that I know.
Yeah.
And he was like, "There's nothing, Eddie. There's nothing." And I was just like, "Good to know."
I mean, I've had people, you know, or like, and my career kind of took off about 6 months after she died. Like, she didn't just see any of it, and it kind of makes me sad because she just saw like Kat, like the cat who worked at California Pizza Kitchen doing stand-up comedy in LA and sleeping on a yoga mat. She was so broke, you know. And then I started to be more successful, like as a columnist, and I was doing guest appearances.
Yeah.
But then people would be like, "She knows." I'm like, "She doesn't."
Yeah.
Have you talked to her? I don't think you have.
My mom was always like, "You were born a star, Eddie, and you're always gonna be a star." That's how she would talk to me.
That's
when
amazing.
I was born, I was the biggest baby born in Florida.
How big were you?
14 pounds, 13 and a half ounces.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I was at the same size waist as you.
How did that work?
That was C-section. She was 5'4".
I was gonna say, there's no way that's
She was a
coming
real
out.
tiny lady.
Oh, that's so mean.
Yeah. And I can't. She immediately a diabetic the day I was born.
Oh,
I ruined her. And
Oh
then
my
that
God.
lasted for 35 years.
Oh my god.
But I was so big. I'm like fifth now. I'm not the biggest
There have
anymore.
been some fatter babies because all the GMOs.
GMOs and medicine has gotten better, so the fat ones live. If I was born like 10 years earlier, I wouldn't have lived.
Because you were just so fat.
I was just so fat and big. That's why I'm also okay with being fat. It's because I was born fat. You know, I didn't become fat.
Yeah.
To me, if you were skinny and you became fat, you're a loser.
Yeah, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
Big time asshole.
But if you're fat your whole life,
That happens a
enjoy
lot
it.
in the Midwest. Like some of like the hottest girls from my high school
Oh,
are huge.
Well, you know, you got no ambition and you just want to, go to Walmart every day and eat cheese puffs. That's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty excited for my high school reunion. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. I didn't.
Now I'm cool.
We didn't have one.
Yeah, it's my 10-year.
10-year? Hopefully, maybe I'll go to maybe they'll do one for 20, but my 10-year one didn't happen.
Yeah. And I'm like cool now.
Yeah.
And like,
Fucking take that, Mark.
yeah, Mark. Nice baby, Mark.
Idiot.
Nice wife. You could have had all of this functioning human.
You could have supported me emotionally in New York for
I could have
years.
broke up with you every 3 weeks.
Decorate the halls of that, you fucker. Decorate the walls of your wife's giant vagina with your baby loving piece of shit.
I know. All my friends, like a lot of them have like 3 kids by now, and I'm like, what is that like?
Oh my God, I've had friends with 3 kids. It's impressive.
What do they do?
They hang out with
They
the
go to
kids
gym?
and they go to work. That's it. Their life revolves around the children.
Do they tweet?
Nah, so Facebook.
How do they have time to develop all the hot takes?
It takes less. It's like more hot flashes than hot takes.
Yeah. My whole life, like, I think that the hardest thing would be for me about having a baby is there's no way my baby would appreciate my hot takes. Am I a terrible human being?
Not terrible. You're just bad.
Is it bad that I'm taking that as a compliment?
That is a compliment.
That's wonderful.
If you're a good, normal person, I wouldn't even want to be here.
They're boring.
Yeah.
If you say someone's a nice guy, you mean,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, you can be a nice guy. I mean, you're like a nice guy, but not like, you know, there's plenty of other things I'd say before
Yeah,
that.
I'm loud and fat, too. So
It's
they got
wonderful. Yeah. Again, I'm probably the loudest person ever, and it's intolerable. It's really intolerable. Like, I just don't stop talking. Like, if you got something to tell me, you got to let me know.
Cool. I'll let you know.
I just hit my tooth on the microphone. I do it a couple times every show.
That's how we know it's a good show.
Man,
Yeah, I'm always having a great time.
I cracked my tooth open in the airport recently.
How'd that
I was
happen?
starting vacation. I got some Bojangles, cracked my tooth right in half on Charlotte Airport on my way to Asheville, trying to have a nice, lovely Halloween.
Oh, no.
No frickin' tooth, no dental insurance. $1,800.
Holy shit.
Yeah, man, real kick in the dick.
That's
but you know,
awful.
mom died, and I got that 30 grand, so tooth is fixed.
Good time to break a tooth. I chipped off half my tooth on stage taking a drink out of a beer while I was in an open mic once.
Oh my God! I broke another tooth while I was on stage, also with Kissel and Henry. We were doing a show, and I was eating a burrito, and there was an uncooked piece of rice in the burrito, and my tooth cracked in half on the other side.
Oh,
it was a mess right on stage, and you got to continue being funny for another hour, just like it was a disaster.
What do you think makes somebody grow up and want to be a dentist?
I mean, their parents make them. You know, it's easier than becoming a doctor.
You want to fiddle around in mouths all day?
Seems disgusting. They have a high suicide rate.
Do they?
Yeah, because people hate them so much.
I'm gonna look up
It's like them and truck drivers and cops and soldiers.
jobs highest suicide. What if it's just a picture of my face? Oh, okay. Farmers, fishermen, and lumberjacks.
Oh, they're number ones?
No, okay, let's look it up.
No, dentist was literally the first one on the list.
No,
I don't
that
know
was
why
they
she
said.
read over that.
No, they said those are 80% less.
Oh.
Let's see. Well, give me a list. I don't want to read this article.
Fair enough.
Okay, the CDC's occupational suicide list.
Oh, this is fun.
Number 1, farm workers, fishermen, lumberjacks.
They put
Oh
them
my
together?
God. 85 suicides per 100,000.
Holy shit.
Others in forestry or I just said alcohol culture, but I meant agriculture.
Well, you know. You can,
Alchemy. Yeah. a lot of alchemists taking their lives.
Yeah, number 7 is artists, designers, entertainers, athletes, and media.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we're cops and dentists. Nowhere on the list? Am I just spooting out garbage? Truck drivers? Are they on there?
We got factory and production workers are number 4. Yeah, number 6 is police, firefighters, corrections workers, others in protective services.
Yeah.
Dentists are number 12.
Oh, okay.
Doctors, dentists, healthcare professionals.
Oh, they lump them in with doctors?
Yeah. Okay, number 20 is child care workers, barbers, animal trainers, personal care and service. What in the hell
They
do
would
any
never
of
even
those jobs have in common?
This is a bad list.
Who the fuck did this classification system?
I think it's just the number per 100,000.
I'm just saying, if you're a dentist, don't do it.
Yeah, the number is probably how
Take
it
some of that
was.
laughing gas. Take the edge off.
Laughing gas is great.
It is a disgusting job. I mean, you just grill into the worst part of everyone's mouth, and like just black smoke comes out of there.
And it stinks. Yeah.
It's horrible.
I've never had a cavity.
You never had a cavity.
And I read.
Oh, wow.
Should I get on Tinder and then do that?
You're almost unattainable.
Yeah. That must be it.
My buddy was studying to become a dentist, and I hadn't seen a dentist in 10 years. And so he's just like, listen, I'm trained to be a dentist at NYU. Come in. If you have any cavities, I'll pay you $250 a cavity to fill them. He was going to pay me to fill them. So I'm like, fucking A, let's get this done. I go in, no cavities. You believe that
Nice.
shit? If I would have went to a normal dentist, there would have been cavities everywhere. But because in paying for it, but because I was going to get paid for my bad teeth, they were perfectly fine. What are you going to do?
I love taking care of my teeth.
You do? I do it. I brush twice a day.
Yeah, me too. When I was 16, I broke up with my boyfriend when I found out he only brushed his teeth in the morning.
Oh, really?
Gotta brush your teeth
The
before you go to
nighttime's
bed to get with this.
That's the better one.
Yeah.
You got to do nighttime more than morning
Yeah.
because you eat your food all day.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you just let it all rot in
Do
your
you do
teeth.
more than that? Do you?
Oh, I love it.
Do you do like like little picks and shit?
Oh, I floss.
You
know,
floss,
I
yeah?
floss. I have a...
You squirt around some juice, like some, what is it called, Listerine?
Yeah, I use that. I love brushing. Sometimes...
Some juice.
Sometimes I just brush my teeth because it makes me feel good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I do that with Q-tips, even though I hear
Oh,
that's
yeah.
bad for you. But it just feels so goddamn good.
Do you get a waxy buildup?
Not anymore. I'm in there, 2-3 times a day.
I had to get a big thing of my wax taken out of my ear. Like, I couldn't hear in my ear, and they had to irrigate it, and it was like this wax chunk the size of a bullet. And then I asked if I could keep it, and they said no. I was like, that's mine.
Yeah, you keep that. I kept my broken tooth.
I made that. I made that.
Yeah. You should have been able to keep that.
So I'm never going back there again. Nobody go to City DMD on 34th or whatever it is.
I do love that it's irrigate, too.
They don't let you keep your ear wax.
They're out there selling it to scientists for money.
I probably have the kind of fans where I could have probably sold that online.
Ugh.
They probably buy my earwax.
I knew a girl who used to sell her socks.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
Well, my teeth have a Twitter account.
Your teeth have a Twitter account?
My feet have a Twitter account. This mole between my eyes has a Twitter account.
Did you make these
No.
accounts? Other people have made
Other
this?
people made them.
This is crazy.
My butt has a Twitter account.
Really?
Called KT Cakes.
Wow.
So, you know.
Butt cakes. I get
butt
it.
Cakes.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's the mole one is the weirdest, I believe.
I like the mole.
I feel like the teeth one's the weirdest.
It's Kat Timpf snaggle teeth.
Oh.
And I don't believe I have snaggle teeth.
You don't have snaggle
I
teeth.
have
You just got
fangs.
big chompers.
I do. I do
Yeah.
have big, I have an overbite.
It's because they're so white and they stand out. Because you take such good care of your teeth,
Mm-hmm.
they stand out, and people probably just love to make fun of you for no reason.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
you know they're monsters.
they
and
do love
defeated.
to make fun of me. I mean, the mole one,
When'd you get it?
the mole.
Yeah, the mole. I got a new mole.
I don't
That's
know.
why
I've
I'm
kind of
asking.
always had it.
Yeah.
I mean,
What do you think about this? Should I get checked out?
no, it looks fine to me, but I'm no dermatologist, which is another weird job.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for the mole, I tried to get it removed once,
Yeah.
and then it actually grew back.
Ooh.
So it's like my destiny.
Yeah, you keep it. It's nice.
I cried about it often in
High school.
in 6th grade.
There's much bigger things to cry about.
I
than
know,
your
but
mole.
like at the time, life was okay,
Mhm.
and I didn't. It didn't matter, you know. I didn't. Everything was fine, but I just, you know, I just had a mole, and that was a little tough. So I don't know. I'm trying to find this mole Twitter account, but it's just pretty amazing.
It's fine.
I mean, a mole.
It's a mole. It's
Yeah.
fine.
So.
Let me ask you. Can I ask you? You're Colby?
Coley.
Coley. You're from Boston, obviously.
Correct.
We just got done. I was there with Jeff. We roasted the Boston police.
Okay.
What do you think about the cops in Boston?
I think they're better than they were like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But I also had an altercation with them. I was working security. In a building. The building next door had one of our security guards, who was black, and this white girl drove by, saw him in there. It was like a construction site, so
Yeah.
it would look like there shouldn't be people in there, but it's a kid wearing a fucking security jacket.
Yeah.
So I got this knock on my door. I was like, the fuck? I go over. She's like, yeah, someone broke into the building next door. I just called the cops. I'm like, oh, fuck. I go outside, and I, like, look in the building, and I just hear, like, yelling. Like, get the fuck off me, get the fuck off me. The cops just, like, had dragged him out. I was like, the fuck are you guys doing? It's like
Yeah.
4 white guys. It's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? They were like, oh, this guy was in there stealing copper pipe. I was like, no, he was in there like he is every day, securing the building.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, he's got this butter knife on him. I was like, yeah, that's because he lives in the hood and his brother got stabbed on Christmas Eve in the face 5 times. Like, he's protecting himself. He's also doing security outside for 12 hours.
Yeah.
Like, it's a butter knife.
Give
like,
him a butter knife.
and they were just kind of like standing around. They were like, well, where'd the copper pipe go? I was like, were you here yesterday? Like, where do you think, like, there was no copper pipe there. Like, he didn't steal copper pipe. Like, he doesn't
Yeah.
have a backpack. Like, it's not in his fucking pants. It'd be sticking out of his shirt. And so I basically just called them all racist for about a half hour until they finally got frustrated and left, because like they were going to just arrest this kid for being black. So,
Damn.
so those things
Whoa,
do
I
still
can't do that.
No, you can't. Well, you can.
Yeah.
Cops do that frequently, but I don't think there's as much of that today as there was
30 years ago.
even in the 90s. Yeah, my earliest memory is my father is big in Boston, or was big in Boston politics. He's too old now. And he was supporting someone black running for office. I can't remember what the seat was. My earliest memory was the cops ramming my mother's van from behind.
Jesus.
Because they were fucking with us, and they like threw discarded animal parts all over our lawn like every morning.
Woo!
Yeah, so it used to be super fucked up, but the racism in Boston isn't what it used to be. It's
Yeah.
definitely toned down.
Absolutely. I mean, the one thing I will say that my favorite statistic about the Boston police compared to any other police unit around is they haven't killed an unarmed person since 1995.
Yeah.
Which is insane. It's 20 years, 25 years,
Well,
something like that.
one kind of fucked up thing is they also didn't kill the marathon bombers. And if you've watched any of the documentaries, they're like, we shot like 20 times and like bullets were bouncing off. No, you just fucking missed, dude.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
admit you missed.
Yeah, man, well, that poor guy. I feel bad for the guy who owned that boat.
Yeah. Cigarettes caught the marathon bomber because he was on lockdown. He couldn't go outside. Finally, they lifted it for like an hour. He was like, oh, I just wanted to go out to my porch and get a quick smoke in because he hadn't been able to for like 10 hours.
Jesus.
He went outside and he saw his boat and he was like, why is there blood all over the side of my yacht that I haven't used in months?
Oh, man.
Also, imagine just having a yacht you haven't used in months.
Yacht's the wrong word. For
It's
sure.
not, that was definitely like...
Because it was like in his driveway.
Yeah.
Just put a yacht in the drive.
That's a Boston yacht.
Yeah. A nice salty yacht.
What was like the cop roast like? Like I didn't see that.
At first, it was they thought we were trying to pull one over on them at first.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Because we wanted to get the full story, and so we went to the Rise Up October March in New York, and we filmed there, and we talked to some of the victims' families and stuff like that. And we wanted to give black people a voice, and we wanted to give cops a voice. And so when we got there, they found this picture of Jeff marching in the march, not marching, but like we were there, reporting on it. But he was him with Michael Rappaport or something. And they're like, what is this picture? What is this picture? It's like, we told it, we are reporting what's going on. It's like, you think that this has nothing to do with you, then it's crazy. It's like, we're talking to everybody. And like, well, it looks like you're marching with them and like you're anti-cop. And it's like, we're the only people on your damn side. This is crazy. And he's like, well, what about this picture? What about this picture? And I remember I just turned to him. I was just like, well, as a police officer, you can understand that sometimes photographs get taken out of context. And they were just like laughing. And they were like, all right. So we slowly won them over. But for the first 2 days there, they were stonewalling us on purpose. They weren't responding to our shit. We have the whole show starts off with them stonewalling Jeff on jokes. And they're just sitting there, not laughing on purpose, with arms folded, shaking their heads, having a bad time. They wouldn't sit in the seats. Because we wanted to get them for roll call, and then we had a room with all these seats, and they just lined up around the edges, around the seats. And they wouldn't sit in the seats, but after a couple days, we finally broke them, and then we're all buddies now. I'm wearing the hat today. Just because I knew we'd be talking about it.
Yeah, I saw that immediately. I wasn't sure if you were from the area. Obviously, you're from Florida.
Yeah. Florida and New Jersey.
That's tough, though.
It was tough, but at the same time, I understand why you're on guard. And I actually understand a lot about police officers, and I give them a lot more credit than most people do, because it's the hardest job in the world.
Yeah.
And, it's like when you fight 12 drug dealers a week, you might become a little more racist. It's just my mom grew up in a black neighborhood, and every day she got beat up by black kids for being white. Jeez. And so she developed a little bit of racism, and that went away after I talked to her and she realized the world was fucking changing.
Yeah.
But, that's what happens. Like when you go through every day and you see awful shit, you become, not that I'm saying it's right, but that's just what happens to you as naturally as a human being, and especially with cops, because, a lot of them, you don't need a college degree,
right?
To become a cop. And anyone who says, the cops are wrong, the cops are doing all this, well, those people aren't signing up to be cops. Nobody wants to be a cop.
I certainly don't. Sounds hard as shit.
Yeah, so we're, the people who are cops are like the last resort people.
Yeah.
People without educations or military trained, and they're coming here and they're taking jobs that nobody wants. And if you really want to change the police force, then sign up for the academy.
Yeah, I think they need more counseling, and I think they need more like forced vacation, because a lot of these guys are so addicted to the job.
Yeah,
they just they're too deep in it.
Cops
They
in
need to
Italy,
step back.
8 weeks vacation.
Yeah,
8 weeks.
8 weeks for cops in Italy.
That's insane. I've never taken that much vacation.
It'd be wonderful. Imagine if give the cops more vacation. That job is hard as hell. You need to get away. Do you think maybe they would like look forward to shit and they want to go home and see their families rather than pull the trigger? I mean, things are crazy right now. And I think everything should be taken on a case-by-case basis. Obviously, with what's going down in South Carolina with this Michael Stadler guy, is insane. But, in other cases, they shouldn't be prosecuted. But this one, South Carolina, Charleston's it's about to burst. That town. I mean, they're across the street from the Walter Scott is Dylan Roof on trial.
Oh,
It's
God.
so racially charged on that block.
Dylan Roof wants to. He's representing himself.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. He's not. He's got a lawyer. But man,
It doesn't matter. Like he's not. They're not going to be like, you know what? Let's.
I mean, he's going to take the stand. He's going to say awful shit. This is his last hurrah. He's going to get a lot out of this. It's like, and unfortunately, that's how things have to get done. He gets to go and say this shit.
This is the moment he's been dreaming of.
Yeah, and he's just awful, dude. I was talking to the sheriff of Charleston not too long ago as a American Jail Association thing, just because we're in with the guys now. And I was like, so your town? He's just like, it's a mess. he was just so upset.
All right, well, yeah, we haven't been. Is there any? We've been talking for a little bit.
You're so good at this.
I'm really good at this.
Professional.
I'm doing my best.
Professional talker.
I'm doing my best. God, you know what? I'm having a rough week, Eddie. Having an off week emotionally.
What's wrong?
We'll talk about that later.
All right.
All right. Is there anything that you want to talk about, promote, or anything like that?
Sure. Please listen to The Brighter Side, my podcast with Amber Nelson and Cena John on Cave Comedy Radio, and also The Roundtable Gentlemen that I do with Marcus Parks, Holden McNeely, Jackie Zabrowski, Kevin Barnett, and Ben Kissel.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen to this is podcast land, so we'll let the podcast shit live here,
Yeah, and what's your Twitter? It's at like Eddie's
at
music?
Eddie Tunes
Eddie
_ is Twitter, and just Eddie Tunes is Instagram.
Nah.